Good morning. I'm really glad all of you are able to join me this morning. Just a reminder that today's presentation is recorded, so if you need to review it later, you are able to do so. This morning, we're going to talk about purpose. What is it? How does it impact us? And how do we find it? I'm going to start off with a famous quote. This is from one of my favorite authors, and that's Mark Twain. It reads, "The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why." Purpose has been defined by different philosophers and religions for a long time and in many different ways. And there's really no right or wrong definition here. But these are some common ones that you might hear. The first one there, the reason for which something exists or accomplished. So, if you're a water cup, that water cup is designed to hold water. Yeah, it could probably do some other things, but it is designed to hold water, and that's what it's going to do best. That is its purpose. On a more individual level, your purpose can be defined as your reason for being. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's the same as the previous one, just translated to who we are as individuals. You are designed and exist for a reason. Some people refer to purpose as meaning or calling, usually indicating that there's more of a higher power involved in finding one's purpose, while others will just look at it as a reason to work beyond financial rewards and recognition. If we were to summarize all of these, they're all potentially correct and usable definitions, but you're likely to find one more appealing than others. The one that I find the most appealing is the last one. It's about applying your values, passions, and abilities for the greater good. Understanding broadly what purpose is, let's take a look at why it's important. I want you to think about this for a second. What kind of impact would knowing your purpose have on you? On the actions you take, on what steps you take in planning for life after high school? Conversely, if you don't know what your purpose is, what kind of impact is that going to have on you? We are going to learn more about this, but as you can guess, this does have a major impact on your health, your stress, your anxiety, what you will do for work, and ultimately how you will impact the world around you. There have been quite literally thousands of studies on purpose and understanding how purpose impacts us. Studies that focus on what having a lack of purpose does to you kind of come out pretty uniformly with these major issues. So people who don't identify a purpose in life often feel constantly bored. When you're constantly bored, you're jumping from one thing to another. You're looking for something to excite you. Sometimes that leads to addictions and other things. Those are commonly associated with people lacking purpose. People lacking purpose often feel dissatisfied or empty. It really makes sense. When you are working just for the sake of working, you're going to be dissatisfied with the results. You're going to feel emptiness in there. People lacking purpose often find that they're in unfulfilled relationships, meaning the relationships you have with your friends, your family, your spouse down the road, they don't feel fulfilling to you. People lacking purpose often feel anxious as well and depressed. Last one here is kind of interesting. People who are lacking purpose often feel isolated or lonely. And if you think about that, when you are lacking purpose, you don't have something designed that you're doing. How are you connecting with other people? And I think those people who have a difficulty finding purpose have a difficulty connecting with people on a deeper level because of that lack of purpose. Just a thought on that one. All right, so why is purpose important? Now, I'm going to take a statistical look at this, okay? So studies have shown that people who have purpose identified in their lives, people who actually have looked at this and identified that this is their purpose, 125% more productive at work. So that means they get over 2 times more done on a daily basis than their peers who don't find purpose. They're 64% more likely to find fulfillment at work, and that absolutely makes sense. 50% more likely to become leaders. And think about that for a second. If you are more fulfilled at work, if you're more productive at work, that's what those first two statistics say, you're more likely to be promoted up to a leadership position. But also, if you have purpose in what you're doing, if you find a calling or a mission or some sort of meaning in your job and in your work, you are more likely to want to lead others in that area. People who have purpose are 51% more likely to have stronger relationships with family members, coworkers, and peers. So not only does purpose have an impact in your work life, it also has a very significant impact in your emotional health and your physical health. So having a strong sense of purpose leads to a lot of different things that are really beneficial to you as an individual. One of them is going to be better coping strategies. You are able to handle life's difficulties and challenges better when you have an idea of where you're headed in the long run. You are more likely to increase your health-promoting behaviors. You're going to work out more. You're going to take care of yourself and eat better. All of that stuff relates back to this idea of purpose. Because you have more healthy, health-promoting behaviors, you're also going to have an increased life expectancy. It just makes sense that way. Okay. Better pain management, that was kind of a unique one to me, not sure why. But reduced stress obviously makes sense. And that's the reason we're talking about this, because finding purpose in what you do can dramatically reduce your stress and anxiety. Some additional health benefits, you have a lower likelihood of Alzheimer's disease, which I find terribly interesting, and a lower likelihood of stroke and heart attack. If you go back to the idea of having reduced stress, this makes sense on both of these, as it taxes your brain and your heart and your systems a lot less when you find purpose. So, what does purpose mean for you? Purpose means a lot of different things for different people. There is no right answer to this question. And when you do the work that I have you do this week, please know there is no wrong or right answer to any of it. And it can be incredibly simple, and it can be as simple as making your family happy, or it can be on a much larger scale where you're providing major social change. It can be very self-focused, like you're looking at it in terms of how it impacts you directly, and maybe that's just, I'm going to do the best I can at the job that's in front of me. It could be about your creativity. It could literally be 100 different possibilities, and there is no wrong answer here. Next, we're going to talk about Ikigai. This is a Japanese concept meaning a reason for being. And I think it will be incredibly helpful as we talk about finding purpose. I have a video for you to watch real quick.
Ikigai is a Japanese word that can be translated as the reason why you feel motivated to get out of bed every morning. If you are a person who has already found your purpose, who works with motivation, and who's happy with what you already have, then you probably already found your Ikigai. But if this is not your case yet, in today's conversation you will understand why it is important to know your Ikigai, and also give you 5 steps that you can take to find your Ikigai. Ikigai helps you understand why you want something that you want. We all have dreams. We dream of having certain material possessions, improving our health, or living some experiences that we find interesting. But we often forget to ask ourselves, why are we chasing these dreams? Why do you want to have this specific product? Why do you want to be healthier and lose weight and gain muscle? Why do you want to travel around the world, parachute, or meet your idol in person? Understanding the reasons why you get out of bed every morning is important because it brings an internal and lasting motivation. And this type of motivation can help you to keep track and achieving your goals. It is a far more effective motivation than the passive motivation from some video, from music, from some catchphrase, or even some inspiring example. Anyone who can find this reason for action finds Ikigai. Ikigai is your reason for living. In Ikigai, the Japanese secret to a long and happy life, neuroscientist Ken Mogi explains that finding your Ikigai is finding your reason for living. And this term was coined in Japanese islands that are famous for having a much above average life expectancy. And one of the reasons for explaining this longevity is that people on those islands know what they like to do and they engage in it for a lifetime. The theory is that we can make a living doing what we like, and we tend to do our activities with greater satisfaction, with greater care and productivity. Therefore, to know your Ikigai is to know your own reason for living. How to do this? You can find your Ikigai in just 5 steps. There are several techniques for you to find your purpose, and these techniques vary according to the definition of purpose. However, all techniques agree on one aspect. To find your purpose, you have to turn inward. You have to have an honest conversation with yourself and have a great deal of self-awareness. Otherwise, what you think is your purpose might just be what other people think is good for you. That includes your family members, your co-workers, celebrities you follow, even advertisements that you see out there. To find your true reason for living, here are 5 simple steps that have a really profound impact. Number 1. Start small. The first step in finding your Ikigai is to get rid of a craze of grandeur that seems to hit a lot of people today. You see, we want to have a lot of money, to have a fit body, to have a successful career, to have a happy family, to have a beautiful big house, to have the car of the year, to have. We want to have so much that we end up basically having almost nothing. Instead, try starting small. Choose one area of your life that needs more attention. See that you can improve a little bit. Set aside the craze of greatness and start building your reason for living slowly, little by little, but in a constant way that gives you sense for longer life planning. Number 2, free yourself. The second step is to break free from old ideas that might not be aligned with what you really want from life. For example, who says you need to have that slim body, a big house, the car of the year, and all those things to feel happier? Is this a real need of yours, or is it something that came from outside, from colleagues, from family, from advertising, so much that you have already internalized that you might think this is your idea? To find your Ikigai, try to break free from all these preconceived ideas and carefully reflect on yourself to really find what you want from life. Step number 3, seek harmony and sustainability. It is no use finding your Ikigai if it does not bring harmony into your life and if it is not sustainable in the long run. Use the following questions as tools to find your Ikigai. Is this sustainable? Can this activity be sustained in the long run? Can you make a living from it? Is it going to keep your health? Think of Ikigai as an intersection of 4 different circles. What you love, what the world needs, what you're good at, and that makes you earn enough money for your living. If you can find an activity that meets all these 4 qualities, then you found your reason for living. Have joy in the little things. The 4th step is not to condition your happiness to the fulfillment of great goals. One mistake that many people make when they're designing life plans is to set up grandiose projects and condition their happiness to the fulfillment of these projects. For example, let's say that one of your big goals is to complete a postgraduate degree. Very nice. This can be an arduous task that will take years of dedication and study. If you only allow yourself to joy when you graduate, you're going to have years of suffering for just a few moments of joy. Because soon after conquering your graduation, you soon will start looking for other goals. Your joy will pass and you'll set new and greater goals to which you again condition your happiness one more time. And this is an endless cycle. There is a smarter way to live your life. Learn to have joy in the little things. Have joy every time you have to sit down to study for the tasks in your postgraduate program. Be happy with every little mistake that you make when you're writing your final paper. Be joyful even when you find yourself conditioning your own happiness to the fulfillment of a goal. Our life has so many ordinary moments, more than great moments. If you only allow yourself to joy when you accomplish great deeds, you're condemning yourself to a life full of dissatisfaction and just a few moments of happiness. Number 5, being in a here and now. Finally, learn to be in the present moment. Learn to enjoy the whole journey and not just the final goal, the ultimate goal. Right now, just as you're here with me, are you enjoying the journey? Or are you thinking that you're not one of those lucky people who can find a great purpose, a great living reason? Many Eastern philosophies warn us about the risk of abandoning the now, failing to live in the present moment. And when we focus on desire, when our focus is on what we want or what we don't want, we're no longer living in the now. And so we open the door to suffering. The reason we suffer is the untimely desire, the habit of always wanting to anticipate the future, wanting more and more, or remembering the past without ever enjoying the present moment. If we are never satisfied with the present moment right now, we're always wanting something else. And this is the main cause of suffering. If we are present, live in the present moment completely, there would be no wanting or not wanting. It would just be in fullness. Finding your Ikigai is knowing yourself. Imagine for a moment that you had a great motivation to get out of bed every day and you found true purpose, an activity that you really enjoy, where you're good, that the world needs you, and still you can have enough money to support yourself. How will this affect your quality of life? How will it change the way you live your days? How will it impact the people around you? In Japan, this is called Ikigai, and you can look inside yourself today and follow the 5 steps that you learn here to find your reason for living. Start small, throw away old ideas and look for harmony, something that brings harmony and sustainability. Remember to have joy in the little things, and especially to pay attention to the here and now.
So Ikigai is the meeting place for 4 different concepts relating to purpose. So at the top, if you look at this Ikigai picture, you see, what do you love? So what is something that you enjoy doing? What is fun for you? Okay. On the left-hand side, you see, what are you good at? So things that you excel at, things where you have those natural talents. On the bottom there, what can you be paid for? So how do you earn money? And on the right-hand side there, what does the world need? So a broader concept of what do the people around you need? And the idea here is that when all these things come together, when what you are doing meets all of these different areas, you're in a state of Ikigai. And the idea for Ikigai is it provides this balance for your life. And if you think about this, looking at this chart, if you take a look at the what are you good at and where that meets what you love, you see something called passion. And now I know all of you have heard, follow your passions. And I think that's great. But if you're only following passions, do you see what you're missing? You're not in Ikigai. You're not doing something necessarily that you can be paid for. And you're not doing necessarily something that the world needs. And so, yes, follow your passions, but your passions need to be in this concept of Ikigai, where all of these things converge. And if you take a look at this chart, you'll see different areas of when you're lacking something, how that might impact you. So if you are lacking what the world needs out of you, if you haven't answered that question by what you're doing, you're going to feel satisfaction, but you're also going to feel a little bit useless. On the opposite side of that, if you are lacking what you are good at, if you're doing what you love, if you're doing what you paid for, if you're doing what the world needs, but are lacking what you're good at, you may feel a sense of uncertainty. So all of these are going to be important concepts. And actually, this is what your quiz is on. What I want you to do this week in that quiz is to explore a little bit. Take a look at this concept of Ikigai. Look at these questions and think, hey, what do I love? Right now, don't worry about them being all together. Don't worry about trying to make it all match up and so that you reach that Ikigai. What I want you to do is just explore each one of these questions individually and get an idea of where they might converge together. So you're going to be taking a look at your values and your strengths. So I want you to check out your gifts. Think about what those are versus your talents. Now, gifts, that's what you're naturally good at. That's what, hey, without any work, you're good at this one. Talents is something that you actually work towards. These are things like learning to play an instrument. These are things like getting good at math. Some of us are naturally talented, some of us are not. And so that's going to be a different thing than gifts. Flow. This is a concept where what do you do where you just totally lose track of time? You get absorbed in something and everything else just seems to go away. Some of you, that might be reading a book. Some of you, that might be playing an instrument, playing video games, playing a sport. Everybody has different flow. Okay? And the last question here I want you to be thinking about is, what are you good at and what does the world need? So begin looking at those questions. They're in your quiz. That is your quiz this week. And again, this is more about self-reflection. This is not about you getting the right answer. So don't expect yourself to have a perfect Ikigai right now. That's not the point of this. I want you to begin exploring, and that's what that quiz is designed for. All right. I do want to talk briefly about a book that I hope at some point all of you read, and that is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. Just to give it in a nutshell, Viktor Frankl is a Holocaust survivor. And this book is written about his experience within the Holocaust and how he found meaning even within that difficult time. So some questions for you that kind of come out of this. What gets you out of bed each day? What makes you want to wake up? Another good question to think and begin asking yourself is, what does the world need? We mentioned that earlier when we talked about Ikigai. What motivates you at work? So what are the things at school for you that motivate you? What make you want to continue to excel? What aspects of work make you feel your best? So at school, what are the things that actually make you feel really successful? What makes you feel most useful and happy? And think about something you did at work or at home or at school that had a meaningful, positive impact on society. What did you do? How did you do it? And why did you do it? Some questions to begin thinking about. This will also help you as you start looking at that Ikigai quiz, because a lot of this relates back to what you see in the Ikigai concepts. All right. Purpose impacting you. How does purpose impact you, your life, your work? Sorry. Think about it. Sorry, let's go back. So how does purpose impact you? How does it impact your life? How does it impact your work? Think about this. When you know what's important to you, when you treat yourself and your life as if it really mattered, how would that change the way you approach each day? And how would you treat yourself differently? And how would you treat the world differently knowing this? And this is your exit ticket for today. Quick sentence, not much. I don't want you to spend a lot of time on this. But how would knowing your purpose impact you? How would it change the way you approach your day? And how would you treat yourself differently? Thank you, guys. I'll see you soon. We're going to be transitioning over to how to use Notability to complete assignments for this class. If you already know that, that's perfectly fine. You don't need to watch it. All of this will be available on the Canvas page in case you need to learn how to use Notability to turn in homework for this class. Thanks, guys. All right, we're going to do a quick walkthrough on how to utilize Notability to access what you need for completing your assignments. So all of your assignments, or most of them assignments, are going to be out of the textbook. So under course resources, if you click on Managing Stress and Anxiety textbook, and then open Managing Stress and Anxiety textbook in a new window, that should open up the PDF file for this. Okay, we want to take this PDF file and we want to import it into Notability. So in the upper right-hand corner, that little three-dot menu, click on that, and go ahead and click Download. That's going to download it to your iPad, and you'll see an option here to share to Notability right there. You may also have to scroll through these icons up here to where it says Notability. Okay, and we are going to go ahead and import this one. I'm going to open it in Notability. So So this is where you're going to complete the majority of your assignments. There's some other things I'll have you do, but again, it'll be a PDF very similar to this. You're going to find the assignment based upon what the pages on the assignment in Canvas show. And scrolling down, we're going to go find activity 1.1. That'll be one of the first ones you do. There it is right there. You're going to complete this. You can do it in a couple different ways. You can use the pencil or pen feature here to write here your answer. You can also do a text box as well. Either way works for me. Whatever you're comfortable with in Notability, it works just fine with me. Okay, so let's say you've finished completing all of activity 1-1 and you are ready to submit. Okay. In the upper right-hand corner, again, we're going to shoot that or touch that three-dot menu. And we are going to click Share Options. You're going to want to share it as a PDF. And going down a little bit further, you want to make sure your page range is correct. So go ahead and click on page range, excuse me. And I'm going to deselect all because I only want the pages I need. And you're scrolling down here, you should be able to find it relatively easy. So there's activity 1-1 on page 1 and page 2. And you're going to click however many pages you need to submit. You want to click all of those pages. When you've selected all the pages you're going to submit, you're going to click Apply. Okay. And then you're going to click Share. So it's going to give you some options in terms of where you're sharing it to. And to make your life a little bit easier, if you go and find Canvas Student and click on that, you can select My Course, so Counseling 120. You can select the assignment. This one, again, was Activity 1.1, so we click on that. And then we can hit Submit. Add any comments if you want, but you can hit Submit. And that is going to create an error for me because I'm not a real student. But for you, you should be able to upload that directly into Canvas. If for some reason it doesn't upload directly into Canvas, you can always save that shorter PDF on your tablet and you can upload it later through the Canvas website directly. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And I'm here to support you with this. Thank you, guys.